Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to the third game of the day. My name is Hawker, joined by Sir Danny, and we've got Passions up against eL'quvet. And Danny, we just saw Passions take down their first game of the day. How do you think they're going to do in their second here up against eL'quvet?
I've gotta admit, though, I don't know much about eL'quvet. This is pretty much one of the first instances, at least I get to see this team in the FCDB Cup, because beforehand, I never really heard such a, team of eL'quvet, but, I have heard of Passions, and I've heard Passions on trains, so I'm expecting for Passions, the Swedes, to actually even turn out victorious in the matchup against eL'quvet, but maybe, just maybe, this being a decider matchup in, the decider map in a veto, I presume eL'quvet, has also got something to show us here on train, so I think it's still going to be an interesting matchup overall, but I gotta admit, I'm going to be favoring here the Swedish side of Passions. What do you think, Haka?
Yeah, gotta give it to Passions, especially as I saw eL'quvet play in their first game. They went up against Nova, and in the first half they got pretty destroyed. And in the second half, I kind of felt like it was more Nova playing and playing kind of poorly and making mistakes that allowed eL'quvet to take the rounds. And I'm not really expecting that to come out from Passions, but we'll have to wait and see. As we get underway into the pistol round, it will be eL'quvet starting on the T side. And it's also important to point out some of the names of the players. You've got, I think SDY is Some Die Young, and you've got Dies is just Dies, and then Lazweka. I learned the 3 is like a Z in Russian, so you always learn new things. And then just Hazing and Kiz makes sense. Just some nice knowledge there to drop on you. They've just gone for 5 sets of Kevlar, and Hazing trying to take a long range fight there. It looks like they're going to group up around this A play. And Lazweka seems to be the man going in first, looking for the entry, and he does find that quick headshot as they look to explode on towards this A site.
Yeah, and explode they will, as now they have acquired the A bomb site, but take a look at Brawlin coming in from behind, picking up a 2, maybe even a 3rd frag here, but no, he's been dinged. Could use the backup of his teammates, who are now finally timing in, and it's Brawlin, not the 4th for Brawlin though. But still, nicely done by the Swedish youngster to get those free frags, pretty much putting in Passions in a position where they can actually even win the round, just because of that one player coming down from Pop Dog, picking up those free frags. And well, it just goes to show that, Passions, that's what I'm expecting from them. The aim prowess of this Swedish team should carry them, especially them playing on the CD side. That is where they should shine through. But eL'quvet, that was a relatively good strat. I don't blame him. That was a pretty good rush there onto the A-bomb side. It worked out relatively good for them, but, there's Brolin, and Brolin is a beast. So, speaking about beasts, so Kiz opening things up here for the eL'quvet side. This is, to be honest, a bit of an eco here for the T's. They have invested in some of those pistols, some of those upgraded pistols, but that's not a lot. If they're actually able to acquire a second bomb plant here, then they're going to be having a relatively good buy on that 3rd round. So that's what I'm hoping to see here from eL'quvet. And Passions, of course, if you're the CD side, you're going to try to take this one relatively careful. And Hazings is actually going to be dropping Zayed there. So this is now not a good start here for Passions. But this is now looking very good for the Russian side, as now they will be planting the bomb. And pretty much already mission accomplished, boys. We get the bomb plant and we're going to be having a good buy. But now they're in contention to win the round. But as they say so, Lazeka, 1 versus 3. He's got the dig in hand, and I know people who can dig, and I don't know if Lazeka's one of them. Let's see though, Lazeka will be good for the 1 frag, but that's about it here. Passions coming through with their 2nd round.
Yeah, but as you were saying, the bomb goes down, so you can see eL'quvet, plenty of money to play with. We should get to see full rifles and even an AWP for Die. He decides to buy that one up. Okay, Hazing, that was a Negev. He bought a Negev and threw it away, switching it up to the Galil. That's a little bit of a mistake. Hey, it's only $2,000 now, so it's not as bad.
How can you mistake it? It's in the machine gun category. You can't mistake that stuff.
They look nothing like each other.
That is also true, but at the same time, they cost pretty much the same amount, so I guess that's what's been switched up there. But Brolin, you know, pushing up alone there. I gotta admit there, I think Rusty was supposed to back him up, but no such backup arrived, and that's already advantageous position here for the Russian squad.
Yeah, Benny sitting in the smoke with the UMP, a little bit dangerous and a little bit too dangerous for him. He decides to just play safe. That nade does a chunk of damage on towards Hazing with that Galil. So he's going to think twice before going for any aggression, especially as his teammates are not quite positioned just yet. The Molotov comes out, but Sum Young has the smoke to help him, and there goes Kiss, finding the entry on towards the A site. The rest of the AKs making their way in. eL'quvet finds another headshot, and the AKs getting the entries as well as the Galil for Hazing. It works out as he gets a bit of team damage, doesn't matter too much because Rusty is left 1 on 5. And so eL'quvet, off the back of those 2 bomb plants, they're going to get this round into their favour. And Passions, of course, after only winning the first 2 rounds, don't really have the money built up. So really good start for eL'quvet to break the CT economy early on.
Yeah, they might just actually break the CT economy here. I mean, you have Rusty, who's, of course, going to be trying to save that M4. But the thing is, though, his team is still not going to be having a lot of money in that 4th round here. So if he's able to save the M4, it means that they've at least got some firepower coming into that 4th round, but I mean, that's still not going to be a lot. I mean, it's probably going to be the Lonesome N4, and even that's not going to be it. It's just going to be rocking pistols here, Passions in this round, and this should, in fact, could be even enforced by now from Passions when you think about it, because players like Hampus, Benny, they couldn't really make the proper investment, so they do invest here a bit. It's a bit of a partial buy, you could say that, so they're going to eco here and possibly eco on the next round as well. And that's actually going to be good for eL'quvet. They might actually even make the scoreline a bit better now. They might even go to take the lead here on Train, the Terrasant of Train, if you will. But as we saw previously, the game of Counter-Strike, you never know what those pistols might actually come up with. So still, this is anyone's contention unless somebody gets those initial frags.
Yeah, Brolin has pushed up in towards Brown Hall, so that's allowed the rest of his team to stack in towards A. Flash comes out from Sum Young. He's not going to find too much just yet. In the meantime, it's eL'quvet taking the first fight, and he comes out on top with the first kill. But Brolin here might find one through the wall. He gets the headshot with the Deagle. Here comes Hazing, though, looking for the trade. Elsewhere, we're seeing Hampus on the A site possibly take a fight as the man goes up blue train, and there's another Deagle shot. How does Hazing get a Glock kill there? I don't even know what's going on. All I do know is it's 2 Deagles left to make that 1 Deagle. Just Hampus in a 1-on-3. It seems like this should basically be over as he even takes a bit of damage on his exit. But yeah, I think Auto Director might have missed some of the action there, but I don't know what happened with Hazing. Seems like he got a kill with the Glock at the end there.
But did you see what happened there with Rusty?
I don't think we did.
Rusty was pushing up Pop Dog. There was a player right in front of him, and yet he wasn't able to get the frag with the CZ. In fact, the player turns around, picks him up, and to be honest, if Rusty gets the frag, I mean, Passions actually puts themselves in a relatively good spot, but Rusty, my man Rusty whiffing quite a bit, I must admit. And anyhow, Passions, again, it's just going to be a good old-fashioned eco here from the Swedes, so we can't expect much from them. You know, I saw previously, it really depends on which team can actually get those initial frags on, you know, round when you have those pistols, and never actually seeing eL'quvet be the one to come out on top, and I presume it's going to be the same for this round as well as Passions. They don't really have much to work with here, all up to Rusty, who has that Deagle of his own, and apparently that's not going to be the case. 2-3 is the scoreline. eL'quvet, as predicted, will come out on top here for the time being, though. But it's about time we get to see what the Swedes have got to offer, and, well, it's going to be a relatively good buy from the Swedes. You know, they have those M4s, a decent amount of utility, a couple of those diffuse kits coming out as well, and an up onto Benny. I have to admit, Benny was struggling on a map like Mirage, on the CD side especially. He ended the CD side by having only 2 or so frags. So now I'm hoping on Train that he could be a more impactful fragger and player in general. There we go. Benny starts things off very good for the CTs, as well as Rusty. Picking up those frags apiece will be very good for the Swedes.
Yeah, and there goes Hampus finding another kill. The A-hold looking incredibly good. But eL'quvet themselves, they didn't really seem to have anything in mind. You just saw the players kind of walk out one by one at different positions. There wasn't really any overall game plan there, and so they were always going to just have to rely on trying to win those fights. And as soon as they lose out, the round is already lost. And it's not easy to push out and win those fights. So I'm surprised to see eL'quvet sort of just spread out like that. It seemed like they didn't really have too much of a strategy in play. We've got Young trying to make the best of a bad situation as he pushes towards B, but in comes Benny to take him down. And so Kiss 1 on 5 will have nothing left to do. I mean, if he did win this, could go down in the history books. It would sound, well, maybe not the history books. We're past books now, but could make Reddit. 37 seconds. Let's see what Kiss can do.
Yeah, a front page of Reddit is always nice. And to see your name there, at least for the players, as well as sometimes, oh, look at this caster. He is so great at casting that 1 versus 5. But yeah, anyhow, looks like Kizzy's not going to be the one to make history books, or at least the front page of Reddit. And it's going to be Passions equalizing the score in here. 3-3 is going to be the set score. And Passions, in fact, if the double op setup, the one lonesome op setup was enough, they're going to be going for the double one, in fact. Brolin as well picking up an op of his own towards B halls, towards brown halls, and in my opinion, that's a very good spot to be holding, especially with the op, as you pretty much need only one defender there, and Benny is actually going to be doing a very good job at defending Ivy, as well as Hampy defending Pop Dog. And now eL'quvet, these players, they try to go for these mano-a-mano engagements, and it really hasn't been working out here for the T's, as it just goes to show Kizzy and SD, the last players for this T side, are gonna be having it quite difficult.
Yeah, again, pretty similar from eL'quvet there. They go for pushes 1 by 1. You saw a couple of players try to trade out from T main, but not really fully committing. There goes Benny, easy shot for him, starting to get working with that AWP. And SDY does not have the bomb, so shouldn't really be too much left in the round. And eL'quvet, it seems like they just need to commit to a push together. If they want to go for these quick plays out towards A, that's okay, but they need to make sure they just all commit to something at the start of the round. That seems to be the real issue, because as soon as they're down in like a 1 on 4, nothing really going to be happening. Although, there is one headshot. Still 3 more to find, 2 of them being AWPers. Fairly difficult to do too much. Out comes the flash. Looking for the pre-fire, but as we were saying, not really expecting this one to come in his favor. He's probably going to push forwards, though, not wanting to just save the AK, and there we go. Hampus takes him down. So 4-3 for Passions. Starting to come out on top now as Benny, again, as I was saying, doing some work with that AWP. That could be a real big difference for Passions to sort of push them over the edge.
Yeah, that's good to see, isn't it? Especially after the lackluster game he had there on Mirage, Mirage didn't really work out there for Benny. Like I said previously, I think he ended the CD half with, what, 2 kills? So that's definitely not that good. Now him having free, and in fact, him getting those impactful frags on the CD side is very nice to see here from the players. But Yazdi, that was so quick for him. Even Hampus wasn't expected, and Brolin tries to refrag, but it's not good enough. In fact, eL'quvet on the back of those 2 kills will now be pushing towards B, and this has got to be very good opening here for the T side. Finally, something is working out for them, and the CTs are just going to be having a difficult one, especially with hazing. Oh, spawning out the player, easy frag for him, and Rusty and Zayed are now gonna try to do something, but it's not going to be good enough. That's going to be Haka Lazuika getting those 2 frags, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Lazuika.
Lazuika, yeah, Lazuika, there we go. That does sound a bit better. So yeah, he's going to be ending things up with those 2 frags, and, well, looks like this matchup is going to be a bit more closer than I initially anticipated.
Yeah, and this time eL'quvet, they just commit to the B play. It wasn't anything particularly fancy or anything, but it works out for them, just all committing to a push together. And they're going to try the exact same thing this time on towards the A bomb site. Zadish is the first line of defense on towards the bomb train, spotting the push, and he gets that first kill. It's actually Benny who finds the opening frag with that AWP, but here comes some trades from the AKs. I'm surprised to see these come in so quickly. With the smokes being up, they find the angles still on the edge of those smokes. There goes Brolin, though, very tight angle, but he opens up with the AWP, and Rusty himself had an AWP kill of his own as Brolin finds another easy frag, and eL'quvet there, they couldn't really get out of T-main quickly enough. and Passions were rotated into A before the push could really come forwards.
Yeah, gotta admit, it didn't really work out there for the eL'quvet side. Passions coming through. That is always nice to see, especially on that CT side of train. Again, the double up setup coming into fruition here, I gotta admit. It's gonna be interesting to see what will the T side now try to come up with, because the T's, I mean, all I gotta do now at this point is just pretty much try to, ego this one out. Think about the next round at this point. If they can try to do some money damage, and Benny, he's been a very crucial factor here for the CT side defense, by the looks of it, especially towards Ivy. Him getting those initial frags is very nice to see. One of the more, I'd say, important lynch points, especially in a map like Trade.
And there we go again. Betty gets another kill. Rusty holding towards Ivy will find another headshot. Pretty standard stuff, as you would expect for the CTs. Rusty should finish off this final kill, and indeed he does. So a 6-4 lead for Passions. eL'quvet should be investing back up into the buy, although a couple of players had a little bit lower money than they may have hoped for. You see Hazing again back to that Galil. Lazoika forced down to just one smoke, but other than that, not too bad. So eL'quvet will have a decent enough buy, but again, they are having to deal with the double AWPs, so they're going to need to make sure this utility is used well in order to sort of deny those. And with not too many flashes to work with, that could become fairly difficult. Already we see Benny on towards the A site, does get smoked off. Brolan is holding with his AWP over towards B. And that could become incredibly important, because right now, eL'quvet are again all grouped together, and they seem to be ready to try and make their way towards this B site. The flash already comes in. They have to smoke off Brolan, and indeed they do. The push comes down. Brolan might try and line up an angle here in the edge of the blue train, but they just push straight through, and Brolan was not ready for that. Here comes Benny to try and trade, and he does get one kill back, but the players are already towards the site. There comes the retake, though. Back to a 3-on-3 after the bomb goes down.
And this is still relatively good here for the CT side. I mean, they not necessarily have a man advantage, but now looks like the T's have the man advantage. But so yet his position is key, and he will be getting the frag. Now, can they hold this one off here? The T's, by the looks of it, they might just be able to do it. Benny, he has deployed that smoke, but that fakes out the player to push, and now Benny, he can stick it if he wishes to, but this could be difficult. D's could try to get the frag, but he misses. He does not miss the second shot, though, and that's gonna count. Oh, that's gonna be of great importance for him and his team to get that frag, as this allows to eL'quvet maybe even, again, equalize the scoreline here, because Passions, they don't really have a lot of money, but they will invest. And the investment, I gotta say, it's not looking too bad, all things considering. I actually thought it's gonna look worse, but again, those double ups coming in there. Props to Benny again for doing a substantially great job at actually killing the T side, but still, the T's, be careful about them. CTs, as Brolan is alone towards the B bomb side, and he's gonna crumble, and thus the T's will commence the push and will plant the bomb. And I gotta admit now, if you're Passions, it would probably just make sense to, I don't know, try to save at this point. They have those ops. They have the EMP on Rusty, which isn't that good of a gun, but still, saving some of that weaponry would be good into the 13th round.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing there that Brolan just kind of held the smoke out for so long when he wasn't jiggle peeking wide enough to get the information. Normally you do that with a molly, and you jiggle peek to try and spot someone out, and then you can just molly it off and call for the rotate. But with the smoke, firstly, that's more difficult to do, because obviously you can push through the smoke. But secondly, he wasn't even peeking wide enough to get that information, and he just kind of got caught off guard. And so now Passions are forced to save what they can into this upcoming round. Looks like they will get to save those double AWPs, so that was of course the most important thing. And I would expect the rest of the team to not really invest too much off the back of this, because they can just afford to eco this one and have a good enough buy into the next round. So you see Rusty dropping the 1 CZ. Other than that, no investment from Passions. They just keep what they can from the previous rounds. Let's see what Hampus and Benny can do with these AWPs. Right now, they're both towards the A site. And eL'quvet making their way forwards. Dye avoids the AWP shot, and he himself opens up by taking down Zadish. There is Lazoika to find another. He gets 2 kills on the entries, and the AWPs are already dropped. That was incredibly quick there from eL'quvet.
It just happened like that. And that's what it takes for eL'quvet to win the round, by the looks of it. Get those frags as fast as possible, and the frags, were gotten reasonably quickly there. I mean, it was just a good old push onto the A bomb site through main nonetheless. And in fact, for eL'quvet to do such a good job at taking down the Oppers and pretty much the entirety of the Passion squad so quickly was very surprising to see. And well, I'm in fact quite surprised that Passions, they really haven't had a good foothold on Train. You know, they've been struggling on the CT side on Train when you think about it, because 6 rounds on the CT side, it simply isn't that good enough. Hampus still, great job by him, dinks the player, but there's D's with the frag with a smoke. And now Passions got to rotate at least one of their players on towards the B bomb site, and in fact, they rotate too, but take a look at Hazing. His position could be key. Spotting out Rusty, could get the frag, but no. Rusty, 22 points of health, but he still survives. And eL'quvet, now they actually got themselves in a pretty good spot, but take a look at Benny. Take a look at Benny coming in with the flank, though. Could be taking down Hazing. And to be honest, Hazing is expecting such a play. That's got to be heartbreaking there for Benny, to be honest.
Yeah, and as that kill comes in, I thought eL'quvet might commit to the A play. After the push came out Ivy, you could probably expect that the CTs had gambled towards the B site, and they will now indeed go for this A push. Hazing pushing up close. There's a man up the ladder, and Rusty will go falling down, leaving Brolan and Zadish, the 2 players that committed to the B rotate, in a whole world of trouble. In this round number 14, taking a quick look at the money, it's not looking good for Passions. He could just try and save, but at this point, they kind of need the round wins as well. It's a very tough spot. The chances of winning the round are just so low that I don't mind the save here, and it looks like Brolan might just go for that as well. And so they're going to have to concede another round over to eL'quvet by the looks of things. Brolan does get an exit kill. Of course, eL'quvet's money doesn't really matter. We're going to head into the last round of the half, so they can afford to hunt down Brolan with everything they have got. As long as they don't give the AWP over to him, it's pretty much fine. And here comes Kiss himself pushing forwards. Brolan gets gifted another kill, and that will be good enough to save the AK just about. He does take some damage from the bomb, but survives on 14 HP. So heading into this last round of the first half, Passions will pretty much only have that one rifle and the second one drop from Brolan, I believe. So very important save to have something into this round, but let's see if that can get them anything going.
Yeah, can they actually get something going, especially with Brolan saving that AK of great importance, I guess you could say that. At least it makes the Passions weaponry that tad bit more tangible, you know. And, well, Passions, though, they're pushing here towards Pop Dog, and it kind of works out, but there's Brolan with 2. He's got land in his name, and Hampus, though, will be ripping off the head of Hazing, and, well, now it's all up to that lonesome player from the eL'quvet side, who's, I don't know, going to be having a difficult one, but I guess the good thing for him that he will recover the bomb there without any sort of issue, except, I mean, winning a 1 versus 3, now that could be an issue.
Yeah, that all just happened so quickly there. I saw Hampus just have a player in his sights for so long. He was able to line up that deagle shot with ease. And so now Sumdai Young, sorry, not Sumdai 1, is left in a 1-on-3. Minute left, plenty of time to work with if he wants to try and go for any fake plants, but he's just going to commit to the full bomb plant on the B site. So Passions now will be aware of his rough positioning. Here goes Sumdai Young, making his way back to Blue Train. Might go in towards ramp here, and indeed he will. However, there is a player coming towards this position. Zadish is just holding for the time being. So SDY has a lot to do here. If Zadish pushes out, there's a chance for a headshot, but it will give away his position. There is that first headshot coming through, but as the molly comes down, the defuse is happening in the midst of the smoke. It is without the kit, though. So SDY comes forwards. The spray is looking good, and it gets the kill. Brolan, however, finds the trade. Without the kit, though. Oh, Brolan, you have to go for this one. There's no time, I guess. He was going for the kit. I didn't realise the time had ticked so far, and so the damage is done. And SDY pulls that one off.
Yep, simple as that. SDY, he may not get all the 5 kills, but he does win the round in the end, and that's gotta be, I'd say, a bit heartbreaking there for the Passion side. It really comes down to the player sticking that defuse in the smoke. He didn't have a lot of time, so it does make sense to stick the defuse and try to get it, but the backup, or the player that was supposed to back him up, wasn't, you know, quick enough to get that frag. In a world where he's able to get that frag quick enough, I'm pretty sure Passions wins the round and they make the scoreline at 8-7. But now, eL'quvet, they come out on top, and on the CD side, I think they're gonna be feeling oh so comfortable.
Yeah, here comes the push towards B, and Brolan already gets that first kill. Dies spraying away, gets the headshot in reply. But the bomb will go down on towards B, and now eL'quvet are the ones that have to try and make their way back in. And already you can see Zadish pushed up, will get himself a free kill. Goes out a bit too far though as Lazoika finds the trade. But with the bomb being planted, still difficult for eL'quvet without the kits here as they make their way forwards. Brolan holding off towards Blue Train, should get this kill. There it is. And Kiss, the one man left out in the open, will go down as Rusty finishes him off. And so Passions, they get themselves that all-important pistol round to give themselves the best possible chance to really get rolling on this T side. If they could do what kind of eL'quvet did to them in terms of breaking the money, there's still every chance that they could come out on top, especially with the skill on this lineup.
Yeah, the scaling is relatively high on a team like Passions, especially like players like Brolan. I think he was one of the few players who actually got playing that gamers season thingy. Anyhow, speaking about pushes, there's one from Passions, and it's actually working out relatively good now for the Swedish side, as now they actually break through, plant the bomb, and now are going to be having things relatively easy at this point. eL'quvet, I mean, retaking doesn't really make much sense. It makes more sense to try to... Oh, the timing could not have been worse there for the CD player, and in fact, Lazoika at least will be getting that frag, so I guess in the end, if you're the Russian side, you're gonna try to save what you've got. That MP7, that Deagle. The Deagle might be a bit more harder to save as Hampus has got a pretty good angle. But yeah, I mean, trying to save something like the Scout and the MP7 doesn't make sense here for the eL'quvet side. If they save them, you can bring him into the next round. And what a nice shot there from SDY. And looks like actually Lazoika again with a frag of his own. Passions, they don't have to go for any more of these engagements. They gotta have to save the rifles that they have by themselves, and they save at least a couple of those AKs in the end. But still, eL'quvet in contention to at least try to do some more economical damage on this 18th round.
Yeah, gotta love seeing those scout headshots. They're always fun to see. A lot of the times, I'm a bit of a noob. I'll just go for the chest shot and then hope my teammate finishes him off. But hey, these players are better than me. They can get the headshots and they get that done, especially SDY in that one. We're going to see Passions now go fairly quickly towards A by the looks of things with a couple of players while the bomb makes its way towards B. You can see Hampus just running in with the SMG. He will go down first. Here comes the push towards the B site. And Hazen going to be in trouble here. So many players pushing in. And the AK of Rusty does finish him off. So a little bit of a fake from Passions works well. They get the bomb down fairly easily. Although Dye does get one kill in the back. So a couple of frags coming in for eL'quvet. But I believe the AKs are still in the hands of Passions, so they're still not too worried about this one. As SDY looks for an angle, trying to find something with the scouts. Switches it up to the MP7, which is a pretty good decision as he gets a headshot. In comes the trade though, so still a 1-on-2. And Dies is not looking to go for this one. However, decent kills coming in from eL'quvet. Not too bad, all things considered. Saving those guns has helped them out, but I think Passions only had 2 AKs, if I am correct. So that's not too bad for them either. They're saving the 2 guns they really needed to.
Yeah, they're going to be able to save those 2 AK-47s in the end and also get the round win, which is nice for Passions, but I gotta give credit for eL'quvet. They wanted to leave a dent on the terror-side economy and a dent they have left. And in fact, if eL'quvet is somehow able to win this round, they might just break the economy of the Passion side. Surely 2 or even 3 of their players can invest in AK-47s if needed, but the remaining 2 are just not going to be having a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how this round turns out to be. And Passions, quickly they have deployed it as smokes and other utility towards the A bomb site, but no serious push happening except for Lonesome. Oh, who is it? Hampus. He actually sneaked through. He's just towards Sandwich. There's a player right behind him onto the blue train. This is so awkward at this point. Hampus, though, if only he knew that he has penetrated the ranks of the CT side. And, well, his position, I think, is going to be key. He's not going to be able to accomplish much. That's got to be quite the satisfying day for Hampus. But now the remaining players can now push, and they're doing a pretty good job at it. There we go. The frag's going in favor of Passions and eL'quvet. They have Lonesome D's in a 1 versus 4 who is going to try to do something. Starts things off relatively good. Gets the fragment to Brolan. But I mean, he's only got 12 points, 12 points of HP, so that's definitely not a lot to work with here. And I mentioned the fact that, Passions, they could have been in a situation where they could get economically reset, but this time around, in fact, it's going to be the Russian side who might have to face an economical turmoil, so saving the op is of great importance here for D's.
Yeah, I don't know how Hampus managed to walk out and not spot out the opponent there, but I guess he wasn't looking up, and the AWP isn't even saved at the end. And you saw there, even after Hampus goes down, the rest of Passions made their way forwards. They made up for it by picking up the round themselves with a very quick play on towards A. The AK's got the job done. And so now eL'quvet back down to pistols, and it looks like they could be in a similar situation that Passions were, where their money on the CT side wasn't really strong enough. We haven't really seen eL'quvet be able to get that strong of a buy so far. I don't think we've seen even really too many AWPs from them up until this point. In comes the flash countering. Hampus gets that first kill, going down to 4 HP, and that allows Hazing to push up Pop to get the frag. In the meantime, though, the rest of Passions will just make their way on towards A, play things safe, realise the push came out through B, and not take any unnecessary risks. Sprolan will get the bomb down. The rest of eL'quvet probably will just save that one AK, and the others will play for exit kills, but Passions will almost certainly get the round.
Yeah, that's pretty much the smartest choice at this point. Try to have the pistol players try to do maybe some more damage here if possible, but the AK players gotta save, and apparently that's not gonna be the case. Looks like it's just eL'quvet is just gonna go for these pushes towards A, and I have to admit these pushes aren't really working out. D's recovers the AK, but only has it for a second or so. So eL'quvet, they could have tried to save that AK, but when you think about it, the CTs, they've already reached maximum lose money bonus of $3,400, so they can't try to not save the AK. I mean, they're still going to be having M4s and even an up there in the hands of Ds without any sort of issue. But it really comes down to the scoreline at this point. The scoreline is not really favoring the Russian side. It is 9-11 favoring Passions, the Swedes. And if there's something I gotta say is that eL'quvet could really start winning some rounds here. I mean, Passions, they haven't really had a good start. I mean, the scoreline was favoring the Russians 9-6, and, well, Passions actually climbed through, you could say that at the very least. And if Passions keep on acquiring more and more rounds, their momentum is going to be building up more and more, and that is where the Russians could struggle. But now, a push should come in here from Passions as they've deployed the utility, but still... Okay, finally they're pushing out their Rappy Rusty. Nice smokes deployed there from the Passion side. All you gotta do now is just plant the bomb, and once the bomb is gonna get planted, they should be having good post-plant position. But there's Rusty with another one. And there's a player on Brown Train, and Rusty again with the frag. And finally the op of Benny also times in, but SZY, I mean, this is just gonna be a bit too difficult. He's a bit too late in the party, I guess you could say that. And the party is already over as Passions able to win that one. Swift win from the Passion side. It didn't even look like eL'quvet is even in contention that round.
Yeah, exactly. They had 4 players towards the A site, and yet the execute works really well in terms of the smokes. Not only that, but Passions also managed to sort of push on the edge of the smokes and find the angles around the utility they used to get those kills. And so eL'quvet's defense just kind of fell apart. And again, SDY has been solo holding the B site fairly often, but he couldn't do anything on the retake there when his team doesn't get anything done. So this time he will make his way up on top of Blue Train, switching up his position, looking for something with the CZ. Of course, it's only pistols here for eL'quvet, so it's looking like Passions should now take control of this second half. They're likely to get the 13-9 lead, and with the money flowing on their side of things, they will look to extend that further. Here comes the push though. Rusty nearly caught off guard, but Zadish helps him out for the first kill. Hampus tapping away, finally finds that headshot. Even though he got dinked down low, it doesn't matter too much. They get the kills they need. So eL'quvet and Kiz will have to try something. And eL'quvet is on the site as he gets the first kill. So that's something to work off of, but shouldn't really see too much else. He nearly gets a second kill, but in comes Brolan, as you would expect. And Kiz should just about take his deagle out and try and land a shot. Might have the chance. There's a headshot, looking for another, but he won't be able to find it. The spray through does the damage. I didn't think you could wallbang that with a deag, but he proves me wrong. They are going to push him down though, so it doesn't matter in the end. It is indeed 13 for Passions.
Yeah, 13 rounds here for the terrorist side of Passions is relatively good, I gotta admit. They've also built up a relatively good bank, especially players like Zayed. I mean, he's got 14,000 US dollars, and that is quite the sum of money to be having, especially when the second half is coming to a close. So they shouldn't be having any sort of economical issues, I'd say. And eL'quvet, they're the ones that gotta find something that might work out for them, and the triple up setup isn't the answer. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Kizzy behind Electric will be picking up only the lonesome frag, but has dealt a decent amount of damage. And can the ops come into fruition? There we go, SDI with the one frag, but there's players also coming in there. No one's covering Rusty. And now Hampus and Benny with an all to do here. Campus tags down one of the players, but there's these from Pop Dog, who has got the op in his hands, and Benny, he's also got the op, but he's not got the angle there onto Blue Train. So that's a round for eL'quvet. It looked very risky. I mean, 3 ops trying to go for the retake. I mean, that's such a difficult task for the Russian side, but they still had some of those players with M4s. The players with the M4s able to get those close range engagements, get those frags as well, and the ops then have a relatively good chance at winning the round. Especially the player from Pop Dog, you know, him getting that frag as well, leaving Benny in a difficult clutch scenario is also quite the crucial frag. So eL'quvet, we gotta give props to them. They pick up their very first round here on the CT side of trade. It's been a long time coming, but the triple op setup was the crucial factor in this. Could you say that, Hawker?
Yeah, it seemed like the Orcs did find a couple of kills, but I don't think they were that important. Either way, we can't focus on that too much because the push is coming out. Brolan running in the Molotov goes down first, and that's why you don't try and push through the flames, because flames are scary. They can sometimes kill, and it's proven this time as Brolan goes down first. Zadish also, I think, went down to just 10 HP from that. So it's not looking good for Passions here. Their push has been disrupted by the utility. SDY nearly gets himself a kill. Will get the kill on the second time of asking. That Zadish who goes down. See Benny trying to find a frag back. Rusty goes down low. In fact, he goes down. And so Benny, left in a 1-on-2, has to try and clutch this. And with the bomb out in the open, it's not going to be easy. His dice finishes him off. eL'quvet get another round win, and they get to save the double AWPs again. But Passions, the issue is always going to be that they've built up so much money. eL'quvet still have to deal with another gun round.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be dealing with a set gun round, and in fact, they're gonna be going for 3 scope weapons. One of them being the good old tac-tac, or the auto sniper, if you will. I really like the fact, you know, like the Aussies, you know, call the auto sniper like tac-tac. I guess you could say that he makes that sort of tac-tac noise. So, I mean, once you hear the noise of the auto sniper being fired, if you're the T side, you gotta be very fearful of that part of the map, wherever it might be. And D's, that's actually a very nice gap in the smoke, allowed to get 2, and not the third one. I think that would have been too much there, but Kizzy, he's gathering a lot of intel, a lot of map control as well, and in fact, eL'quvet knows what the meaning of this is. Passions, they are ready to hit B, but the thing is though, Kizzy and the flank is going to be also of great importance, and I think Rusty and Zayed are just now going to be having it very difficult at this point. Very difficult indeed, as the T's only 2 players standing, and with a minute left on the clock, you could say they've got much to work with here. But to be honest, they have lost a lot of map control, but they do take down Kizzy, so I guess you shouldn't count out the Swedes just yet.
Yeah, I think Kizzy was trying to make sure they couldn't go down Pop Dog, but he just peeks into the open and loses his life. Still, though, eL'quvet should be in good shape. Lozoika's pushed in towards team main. So Rusty and Zadish are going to have to make a move fairly soon here. The time is ticking away with 30 seconds left. They look to go towards B, and with plenty of utility, they might be able to sneak in towards the site with these smokes and get the bomb down without any real contest from eL'quvet. In comes the second smoke from Zadish, and that should be coming through now. So the bomb will be planted actually in a slightly different position to the left of the bomb train there. So that's something to remember as we head into the post plant. And Rusty himself has pushed up in towards A ramp. He might be taking a fight soon, because there is a player coming through for the big flank. It's eL'quvet in towards Brownhalls, who goes down first. Zadish towards the site, nearly gets the kill, but he's taken down by the auto. Here comes Rusty spraying one, but Hazing with that auto sniper gets those 2 frags. And so eL'quvet will take yet another round. The auto sniper manages to pull through, and this one is shaping up to be an incredibly close game now.
Very close indeed. Imagine if Rusty's one of his AK bullets actually hits the CT there. That's round over. Hazing, he's dead. 20 points of health for him, and the AK should be the finisher of him. But the thing is though, eL'quvet, they stand strong in this round, and well, Passions, we talked about the fact that they've got a decent amount of money, but when you look at the scoreboard right now, I mean, things aren't looking so hot for both of these teams, so this could be a round of great importance. I mean, both of these teams could really run out of money in this next round, so let's see though. Passions 13-12, they are still in the lead, but eL'quvet is hot on their heels, so that's something the teams have got to be careful about. Benny though, pushing out alone there, has got some backup. The backup is a bit too far away, thus they cannot refrag as quickly as one might hope to be. And Hazing, the auto sniper, at least is able to get the refrag there for the CT side. Still a 4 versus 4, and in some cases I guess you could be favoring this 4 versus 4 even for the T side.
And here come Passions pushing through the back trains, and they get themselves a couple of kills. Brolan spots out the legs of Dies through the smoke, and so he also goes down. And pushing out through Ivy there works out wonderfully well for Passions. There goes 1 kill. Again, it's SDY, the one man towards B, always having to try and retake A. It seems like Passions are having a lot of success on their sort of standard A hits. And that's what eL'quvet have yet to really be able to adapt to, as SDY will just have to look to save the AWP. Despite the round wins for eL'quvet, a fair few of them have been quite close, so you can see their money really isn't great. And Passions with this round win might have just got themselves a great chance to close out this map, because eL'quvet into this next round, they aren't going to have that full buy, even if this AWP is saved. And that's still questionable. The push comes in. Very nice first, but there comes Hampers jumping around the trains to get the trades. And eL'quvet now, what do they do here? Do they eco and play for overtime? They might have to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they have a couple options here. When you think about it, I mean, eL'quvet, they can try to go for the eco and then have a bit of a better buy on that possibly last round of the second half. Or they can go for a force spin. Worst case scenario for them, they're going to be having a similar sort of money situation anyhow. So I don't blame them trying to go with the force buy right here, right now. Except they got to be quick at getting frags. And this is where they're going to fail, because Rusty already opening things up towards B. And this could be the end here for Passions, pardon me, for eL'quvet, as the CT side simply is already out of this round, as they're just too far away to even think about any sort of retake.
Yeah, especially with the fairly weak weapons as well. Passions can just hold on to long-range angles. There's not really enough utility either, especially with Passions having plenty of mollies for the bomb. Just so difficult to do anything, and we already see the kills coming in. SDY looking for an exit, and he might find one if Rusty strays out a little bit too far. But that is just a consolation prize, because Passions are more than happy to take the round. There go a couple of kills. SDY, nice shots with the Deagle there, looking for the AK headshot. There we go, he's warming himself up a little bit. As Benny also goes down at the end. And Passions, I mean, their money isn't exactly great, all things considered. Those kills could really make a big difference. If eL'quvet win this next round, they might just force Passions down to a weak buy. So that's something to keep in mind there. The fact that Passions lost all their guns could realistically be relevant. I mean, you even see in this round their weaponry looking a little bit weaker than they may have hoped for.
Yeah, that's the case. And not only that, I mean, eL'quvet is pretty much Christmas for them. These players are just rushing into them. They're actually able to get 2 rifles of it, making their buy even a bit better than one might have hoped for. So that's something I gotta admit eL'quvet is gonna be happy about. Passions, not so much. I think they've given away a bit too much that round. If they end up winning this round in the end, I guess it isn't that bad, but if they lose, that could come back to haunt them. And the T's, that's something you gotta be very wary about. And the smokes have been deployed, however, eL'quvet hasn't gotten a single frag at this point, and thus, Passions, they're gonna continue on with the push, and the push is not gonna be looking that bad. But there's SDI and D's with an all to do here for the CT side. The bomb has been dropped, but it also has been recovered. It will be planted though, and Hampus, he's not planning just yet. I don't know what's the reasoning behind it. Planning like this is a bit weird there from Hampus. Is actually going to be a drop, and now SDI is also going to be hitting the floor, and that's about it. Passions, they win their second best of one in a row. This one, I've got to admit, was a bit more difficult than the Mirage one. At least that's what I could say, because on Mirage, they seem to be a much better team. For instance, on that T side here, I guess you could say they struggled a bit.
Yeah, it was surprisingly close, and also the fact that eL'quvet are a fairly unknown team. You would, I think, expect Passions for the most part to just kind of win those aim fights, but that wasn't really the case. eL'quvet proved themselves decent enough that they can compete at this level. I think they were one of the open qualifier teams, which I guess makes sense as to why you haven't heard too much about them. But so far, they have shown that they can compete with these teams. I believe in their first game, they only lost by a few rounds as well. So here in Group A, they could cause a couple of upsets. It's certainly yet to be seen whether that will be the case, but they're going to start off with an 0-2 scoreline in Group A, 2 losses for them so far, whereas Passions, I believe, have 2 wins and 1 loss, so pretty good on their side of things. Either way, we've still got 1 game left today. WASD are going to be up against Resistance, so make sure to stick around for that one. We'll be back after this quick break.